Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. 2022 is almost coming to a close, so in this video I'm going to share my favorite shows of this year. Now before I share my favorite shows of this year, let me know down in the comments what are some of your guys' favorite TV shows you've seen this year, and I'd love to know your thoughts. And before I share my ranking, I just wanted to say I'm not a big TV show guy, so I only watched like 11 TV shows this year, so it's not like I watched a ton. And the reason I'm not doing the top 10 is because, like I said, I only watched like 11 or 12, and quite a few of them were not great, and I don't want to have them in my top 10. So that's why I'm just doing the top 5, so that way I could actually share ones that I really enjoyed. And before I get started, I have a quick honorable mention with Moon Knight. This was a Marvel show that I really enjoyed, but I think that in the finale, it didn't really come together. So although I really enjoyed the first 5 episodes, the finale really let me down. But if the finale was good, it probably would have made it into my top 5. But I did not really like the finale, so that's why I can't quite put it in my top 5. And I also wanted to talk about the Marvel holiday specials, which both of them I really liked. I think Werewolf by Night was a really unique, different thing from Marvel, and Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special was just a great Christmas special, a really fun little thing that they put out. And both of those, they're technically not TV shows, which is why I did not put them in my top 5, but I also wanted to talk about those. With that being said, let's get started with my top 5. And at number 5 is going to be Rings of Power. This was a show that I just really loved. I know a lot of people did not. And even in my review of this show, when I gave it such a positive review, a lot of people were giving me negative comments. They're like, this show is horrible. Why do you like it? And like stuff like that. And I just did not really get that to me. I think the first half of this show is not great. Like I think it does take a really long time to get going. But I think the second half really delivered on what the first half built up. Although it is very slow, I think the second half really redeemed itself, and just I really enjoyed it. And especially as you go into the last 3 episodes, there's a lot of awesome stuff. I think it just did a great job of setting up an interesting story. But then, even though it does take a really long time to get going, it pays off really well. I love the twist with Sauron at the end. Although it is kind of obvious if you've been paying attention to the show, I still think the twist was very good. I think the action in the last 3 episodes is really great. And although there's not a ton of action, the war sequence, I think it's in episode 7 or episode 6. The war sequence was really cool, and I just really enjoyed how this show came to a close. Although I was not a big fan of the first half, and it did take way too long to get going in my opinion, and a little too slow for my taste, I think the second half really redeemed itself, and I really ended up enjoying Rings of Power. And number 4, I'm going with season 3 of The Boys. The Boys right now is one of my favorite shows running, and this season just proves that and why it's so good. I don't think this is the best season. I don't know how I'd necessarily rank the seasons. I have to go back and rewatch the first 2. But I think this season did a great job of just setting up a new, interesting story and introducing new characters like Soldier Boy. And Soldier Boy was just amazing. He's a great new addition for this show. And honestly, this season, other than Homelander, he was probably my favorite character because he was interesting. He had an interesting origin story. We could kind of root for him, but also kind of hate him at the same time. And the relationship that they set up between him and Homelander, I also thought was really good. And I thought it was a great new antagonist for this show because we've had Homelander for a very long time. And I just like the fact that we have a new one sprinkled in there, which I thought was really entertaining. And I like the whole conflict that our team has with all the different superheroes. And because we now have like some of our heroes start to get powers and they actually stand a chance against these soups, which I thought was really great. And overall, just a great show. And I think this season really proves why this show is right now one of the best superhero shows running. And I feel like other than Daredevil, this is right now my favorite TV show as far as superhero shows goes, because Daredevil stopped after season 3. So right now, this is my favorite superhero show that is running right now, and I really, really loved it. Now, the reason I can't quite have it in my top 3 is because I do think the whole Frenchie subplot wasn't as good as the main plot of the show. So whenever it cut to Frenchie and Kimiko, I was not a huge fan of it. But the main story is really good, and I really enjoyed this season of The Boys. Before I go into my top 3, if you've been enjoying this video and like my content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos, movie-related, TV-related content like this. And also share this video with people you think that would enjoy my content. I would really appreciate your support. So thank you so much, and let's continue. And number three, I'm going with Peacemaker. This is the biggest surprise of the year to me because I did not really know what to expect from this show. And it, like, as you can tell, this is one of my favorite shows of the year. And I just really enjoyed it because after the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker was not necessarily a likable character because he turned against our heroes. And I wasn't sure how we're going to continue off that and get him to be a likable character, but James Gunn was able to make him likable and introduce a bunch of new, different, weird characters like Vigilante and make all of them likable, make us like all of them. And throughout the whole show, I think it's just hilarious. The humor is amazing. And I think the story, too, it was pretty interesting with the butterflies and all that stuff. And as you go into the finale, when everything comes together, I just really enjoyed it. And it is definitely one of my favorite shows of the year and probably the biggest surprise. Now, I do think a couple of things could have been better. I think there's a lot of childish jokes and some jokes that didn't really land for me. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And I think it's even better than the Suicide Squad. And one of the best things to come out of the DCEU that was before. And I know they're rebooting now, so I'm not sure if they're going to continue this show. But I'd love to see a second season because I really did enjoy this season of Peacemaker. And also Eagly, just a great new little character to add into this show. And at number two is going to be another big surprise of the year for me, Andor. Out of the 3 Star Wars shows that came out this year, I would have never expected this to be my favorite, but it did end up being my favorite. I absolutely loved this first season of Andor because we had Obi-Wan, we had Boba Fett, but both of those were utterly disappointing to me. And then Andor came out, which I did not have as big expectations for as I did for the other two, and it just blew me away because this is one of the best things to come out of Star Wars, honestly, ever. And I just loved it. Easily the best show to come out of Star Wars of the ones that I've seen. I haven't seen the animated stuff, so I can't talk about those, but I think this show here was just incredible, and it was able to just give such a great experience where you're watching something from a rebel's perspective and you're watching everything unfold from the perspective of someone we've never seen before. And I really enjoyed Rogue One, but I think this show is able to take some of the stuff Rogue One did to the next level because you're able to spend so much time. We have 12 episodes here. You're able to spend so much time with these characters, getting to know them, falling in love with them, and then finding out whatever happens in the last few episodes. It's just all really great. And I love the way it unfolded. And as you go into the finale, it's just really inspiring to watch something like this, something great from Star Wars, where everything is just really, like, it's put together really well. You're always invested in what's happening. And although I think there's a couple of episodes here and there in the middle that lean too much into the politics side of things, like Star Wars does have a lot of politics, but I did not really enjoy that in this show. But overall, I do think it really worked, and it is definitely one of the best things to come out of Star Wars, and easily the best Star Wars show in my opinion. But at first place, my most anticipated show of the year, and a show that I just absolutely love, Stranger Things Season 4. Stranger Things is one of my favorite shows of all time. I absolutely love this show. Now, like I said, I'm not a big TV show guy, so I've not seen things like Better Call Saul and House of the Dragon and stuff like that. So I'm going to get into those at some point. But right now, Stranger Things Season 4 is my favorite show of the year because I just think it did such a great job of continuing what the first 3 seasons set up. Because I think the ending of Season 3 would have been a great conclusion for the show as a whole because we've had 11 moving away, Will moving away. So we have all our characters separated, but it had a happy ending. It's able to bring all the stuff that we set up in the first 3 episodes and kind of build on that, where we see this new character of Vecna, who's been controlling everything all along. I think as you go into the last 3 episodes, especially in Volume 1, the last episode of Volume 1 where you get the whole Vecna twist and all that stuff, I thought that was really entertaining. And then as you go into the last 2 episodes, which are just movie length, and there's so much stuff unfolding in this show that as you get into the ending, it's just really incredible. And the fact that you can have this great production value on a TV show is just insane because the visuals here are absolutely incredible. And in the last episode, when everything starts to unfold, and it's just so big. And then I love the fact that we actually kind of end on a cliffhanger where the world is kind of turning into the upside down, I guess. After Daredevil stopped running, Stranger Things is my favorite show right now that's running. So I just absolutely love the fact that this season delivered. I can't wait to see what Season 5 has to bring because this season I think did a great job of continuing the story of Stranger Things and then just ending on a cliffhanger note where our heroes don't necessarily win, although it does kind of have a happy ending. I do wish it was more dark, if it just ended after everything came together and like all the gates converged. I feel like if it ended after that, that would have been even better, but I still think what they did with this show was amazing. And I think episode 7 of this season, The Massacre at Hawkins Lab, is one of the best episodes of a TV show I've probably ever seen, maybe the best. So I loved this season of Stranger Things, and it's easily my favorite show of this year. So yeah, guys, those are my favorite shows of this year. Like I said, I'm not a big TV show guy, so I've not seen a lot of the big ones. And I know that a lot of people are going to have those on their list, but these are, of the 11 shows that I watched, these are my favorites. And I'd love to know your thoughts, so let me know down in the comments, what are your favorite shows of the year? If you enjoyed this video and want more like it, be sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.